Hey guys, welcome back to Mixology.com. My name is Manuel Ruiz, and today I'm going to be making my favorite margarita of all time, the spicy margarita. So there are a couple different ways to get spiciness in a margarita. My preference is to use raw jalapeno slices. Another way of getting spiciness is to use a liqueur like Ancho Reyes, which is fantastic. However, Ancho Reyes provides a smokiness as well as a spiciness. And my preference in the spicy margarita is to use just the raw jalapenos, but I will be using this in a couple other fantastic cocktails that I'll be sharing with you soon. One of the secrets to the spicy margarita is when you use the raw jalapenos, I strongly recommend that you de-seed the jalapeno because the seeds provide quite a bit of punch. And that may be overpowering to the cocktail. And I'll show the difference on my secondary camera here between a jalapeno slice that's been de-seeded and what the seeds look like. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now the base margarita that I use for the spicy margarita is a Cadillac margarita recipe. That's my favorite of the standard margaritas. It uses a Grand Marnier as well, which is a great addition. So my spicy margarita is based on the Cadillac margarita. So we'll start out with the 2 slices of jalapenos. Another option here, if you want, again, more spiciness, or if you want more of the jalapeno flavor, is to muddle the jalapenos before you make the cocktail. Again, my preference is not to do that. Just through the shaking process alone, the spiciness and the flavor will come out, and that's how I prefer it. So our base will be tequila, of course. Now I'm using Herradura Blanco as my tequila for this cocktail. On my website, like I mentioned before, I have a section on the different types of tequilas that I recommend for different types of cocktails. So we'll start out here with 1.5 ounces of tequila. Now all of the proportions that I'm using here are on my website on the recipe for the spicy margarita. So we'll start out with the tequila, and then next we'll go to the orange liqueur, triple sec or Cointreau. Now Cointreau, while this is a fabulous liqueur that I use in a lot of cocktails, in my spicy margarita I prefer to use a more crisp flavor, so I'm using the orange curacao as my orange liqueur. This is less sweet, which I prefer. And it's a great flavor. So we'll do 1/2 ounce of that. And then next, again, like I mentioned, this is a base of a Cadillac margarita, so we're using Grand Marnier as another addition. 1/2 ounce of Grand Marnier. Okay, and then finally, like every great margarita, we need the lime juice. Now most margaritas are made with lime juice. I prefer to use a combination lemon and lime juice because I think it provides a lot more flavor, just a different type of flavor. So I've combined those juices here, and I have a base of both lemon and lime, and we'll do 3/4 ounce of lemon lime. Okay. Now one thing that you'll note that I'm missing is simple sugar or agave. Because we use Grand Marnier and we use Curacao in this cocktail, that's quite a bit of sugar already. That's enough sweetness for my palate. So I prefer not to add any additional sugar. But if you prefer a sweeter cocktail, you can go just with a straight simple sugar, or you can go with an agave, or as I like to do in some other cocktails, a combination of the two. So we have our base. Now I've made the proportions for 1 cocktail. Typically I'm making enough for 3 or 4. So obviously you're gonna up the proportions. However, with the jalapeno slices, 2 for 1 cocktail. As you add cocktails, I would just add 1 jalapeno slice for each one, or else it may again overpower the cocktail. So we add our ice, which I've conveniently stored here in my other shaker, and it's about halfway full of ice. And then we start the shaking process. Now, this should be about 10 to 15 seconds of shaking. I'm not too picky about it. Really, my rule of thumb is once it gets a little bit too cold to the touch, then that means the shaking's done. All right. And If any of you have been in a good cocktail bar, you probably see bartenders who do quite a bit of motion with their shaking. I prefer to keep it very simple. Next, the glass. So there's a few different ways to use glasses with margaritas. I'm going to use a martini glass. I don't prefer the margarita glasses. I think that's more for slushy type drinks. For just a straight margarita, no ice at all, the martini glass works well. We want to prepare our rim, of course, as long as I don't drop my lime. Make sure you get enough lime juice around the edges. And I use salt to rim for the margarita, for the spicy margarita. Different types of margaritas I make, I'll use different types of rim, either sugar, sometimes tahini. For the spicy margarita, I like the salt just because it balances the spiciness. So we've got that ready. A couple more shakes, and we're ready to go. So, if I've done this correctly, you'll see just a little bit of the jalapeno pieces in your drink. I like to top off with a nice little jalapeno garnish as well. And there you go, the spicy margarita. Let's try it. Ooh, fantastic. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.